Hello po sa inyong lahat. Magbasa tayo ng English books para matuto tayong mag-English. Ang babasahin natin ngayon ay The Bobbsey Twins, The Coral Turtle Mystery, Chapter 1. Isang mahalagang tip po para sa inyong lahat. Kapag may nakita kayong salita na hindi nyo maintindihan or first time yung narinig o nakita ang salitang yon, tandaan nyo at isulat nyo para hanapin nyo sa dictionary ang ibig sabihin, para mahanap nyo sa dictionary ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Magsimula na tayo. Let's start. The Bobbsey Twins, The Coral Turtle Mystery. Chapter 1. The Coral Culprit. Who stole the coral turtle? Flossie Bobbsey asked her cousin, Sandy Wattler. We don't know, Sandy replied. That's why we asked you expert detectives to come here on your spring vacation. We want you to help us figure it out. Sandy was a 9-year-old girl, and, like blonde 6-year-old Flossie, had a twin brother. Sandy and Sunny had honey-colored hair. Their eyes were as blue as the sea surrounding their home on Grand Cayman Island. Don't you have any clues at all to the thief? 12-year-old Bert Bobbsey inquired. You must, Nan put in. She was Bert's dark-haired twin. Thieves always slip up, no matter how careful they are. The whole story is here in our local newspaper, Sunny said. He handed it to Nan. Read it to us, sis, Freddie prodded. The headline says, Black Coral Diver Disappears Next. She paused, pulling her straw hat forward to shade the paper from the glare of the warm sun. So the coral turtle was stolen first, Freddie commented. That's right, Sandy said. Well, when? Shh, Freddie, Bert cut in. Let Nan finish and we'll find out. The young detective puckered his lips and flopped back in his beach chair. Go ahead, Nan, Bert said. I won't read you the whole thing. Basically, the article says that somebody broke into John Cumber's art studio. Where's that? Flossie asked. In the shopping district, Sunny answered. It's not too far from here. Nan cleared her throat to continue. They stole some of the black coral Mr. Cumber had been working with. The coral turtle was taken last week. She hesitated a moment. Wow! Wow, what? Flossie perked up. It says here that it was valued at 1,000 Cayman dollars. How much is that in American money? Bert asked. I don't know exactly, Sandy said, but it's definitely worth more than $1,000. I didn't realize black coral was that valuable, Nan remarked. It isn't, Sunny said. At least, not in its natural state. It's found about 200 feet down in the ocean. Anybody can dive for it. Oh, can we? The smaller twins chimed in. The boy grimaced. You have to have a license to dive that far. I don't think you're old enough. Anyhow, the diving part of it isn't what makes it so expensive. It's the artwork. Mr. Cumber is a very famous sculptor. He knows just how to carve coral. According to the article, this particular piece, the turtle, contains two diamond eyes, Nan continued. Have you spoken to Mr. Cumber about what happened? Bert asked Sunny. Sort of. Sandy and I stopped by his place the other day. We told him who we were and that we wanted to investigate the case, Sandy put in. Mr. Cumber just smiled. He said the police would handle it. He probably didn't think we were serious about it, Sunny remarked. Maybe you should have worn a Hardy Boys detective badge, Bert chuckled, or carried a Nancy Drew magnifying glass. Is that what you use when you do your detective work? Sandy asked. No, we've got our own badges, Freddie began. And magnifying glasses, Flossie giggled. Oh, Sandy said, winking at Nan and Bert. Sunny, in the meantime, had kept quiet. Suddenly, he dug his heels in the sand and stood up. I've got a clue to the coral thief, he exclaimed. What is it? His sister prompted. Well, there isn't much crime on these islands, is there? Mm-hmm. His sister nodded. As a matter of fact, there's practically no thievery at all. At least, nothing like this. Right? Right. So, whoever took Mr. Cumber's coral turtle and diver probably doesn't live here. Bert frowned slightly. I bet you're right, old bean, Sandy praised her brother. I'd say that's more of a hunch than a clue, Nan spoke. What do you mean, Nan? Sandy asked. For one thing, just because you don't have much trouble on the island, or haven't had any in a long time, doesn't mean that somebody hasn't been cooking up a scheme right in your own backyard. I mean beach. Oh, Nan, you're so smart, Flossie beamed. So, in other words, Sunny said, you think I'm wrong? Bert replied, on behalf of his sister. It's just that you have to be careful about jumping to conclusions. That's lesson number 1 for any detective. Well, what do you think we ought to do first? Sandy asked. Let's go see Mr. Cumber, Freddie bubbled. After we take a swim, suggested Nan, dropping her hat on the beach towel. She chased the little boy across the white sand and into the rolling waves. Freddie giggled as he dipped his shoulders into the warm water. His twin Flossie ran in after him. She splashed his curls as she swam past. I can hold my breath longer than you can under the water, she teased. Cannot, can so. She inhaled deeply and pinched her nose shut, then bobbed below. Freddie followed her. Nan, who had been skimming the water on her back, turned on her side. She looked in the direction of the young swimmers. They were gone. Freddie, Flossie, the girl detective shouted. Where are you? Frantically, she scanned the area for her brother and sister. Flossie's yellow bathing cap was nowhere in sight. Nan glanced at Bert, and her cousins. They were laughing loudly, not paying attention to the swimmers. "Freddie!" Nan cried again, but still there was no response. She dived underwater and swam a short distance with her eyes open. The salt burned, forcing her to surface once more. Then, as if from nowhere, Nan felt something rush beneath her. A sudden chill swept over her body. Could it be a big fish? "Oh!" She shivered, taking a sharp stroke in the opposite direction. Within seconds, water gurgled and churned around her. Freddie and Flossie bobbed up next to her. "You scared me!" Nan exclaimed. "Where have you been?" "We've been doing some under-ocean detective work," Freddie burst out. "Next time, please tell me when you're going to take off like that, okay?" Flossie nodded excitedly. "Look what we found!" she exclaimed. Freddie held up something that was hard and stringy and black. "It's black coral!" the little boy declared happily. "Are you sure?" Nan said. "It looks more like somebody's old shoelaces." "Sure, we're sure," Flossie insisted. "Let's show everybody." The trio headed for shore. The younger Bobbseys darted toward the others with their find. "Look, look, look!" Flossie bubbled, letting the item slip through her chubby fingers. It fell on Sandy's lap. "Eek!" the Wattler girl said. "Seaweed!" "Seaweed?" Freddie repeated in shock. "Oh no, it's black coral." "Oh no," Sunny corrected him. "It's plain ordinary seaweed." The small Bobbseys hung their heads sheepishly. "And I thought we found a big clue," Flossie pouted. "Your clue," Bert said, smiling, "was a gigantic goof." Nan patted Freddie and Flossie's wet coats. "You see, even the best detectives can make errors," she told Sandy and Sunny. Sandy felt sorry for the young children and spoke. "Black coral does sort of look like seaweed, but coral is not so soft. It's very hard and stiff, like a tree branch." The children dried themselves off and headed for the house, where they changed into slacks and cool tops. "We're going downtown, Mom," Sandy told her mother as she swung open the front screen door. "See you later." The Waddler family lived on the West Bay beach side of the island. There were several small, charming hotels there, including the Island Club Colony, which they owned. Mr. Waddler had grown up on Grand Cayman, and, except for occasional trips to the United States to visit Mrs. Waddler's relatives, they spent most of their time on the beautiful island. As the group hiked along the narrow paved road that led to the center of town, Nan asked, "What do you call this tree?" "That's a breadfruit tree," Sunny answered. "It was brought to the West Indies by Captain Bligh." "In what year?" his sister teased. "In 1793, so there." "From where?" Freddie asked with a twinkle in his eyes. "Tahiti. Any more questions?" Sunny said. Can you put it in the toaster? Flossie smiled. No, but you can fry it, or roast it, or even boil the fruit. It's pretty tasty too. It's got lots of vitamins A, B, and C. I don't like medicine, Flossie replied. That's not medicine. That's nature's way of keeping you healthy, Sandy said. As the children continued their walk, they passed a row of very tall palm trees. Those are royal palms, Sunny remarked. You have them in Florida too. Are there king palms and queen palms? Flossie giggled. They all laughed, and Nan commented, No, silly. Soon the thick growth of tropical plants gave way to a jagged wall. Below it was a bed of rock that stretched into sand. Hey, Bert said, stopping short. Do you see that man over there? His companions followed the line of his pointing finger. A square-built figure in a tattered and torn khaki suit was peering into a hole in the rock. What's he looking for? Freddie wondered. Pirate treasure? As the boy spoke, the man lifted a medium-sized black object out of the hole. He held it up to catch the sunlight. That's the missing coral turtle, Sandy exclaimed. Come on! The group leaped over the low wall and raced down the rocky slope toward the mysterious stranger. He turned around abruptly, then shot forward. Clutching the priceless turtle, he ran toward the water. Stop! Stop! Flossie cried, trying to keep pace with the older boys and girls. Freddie stubbed his toe on a big stone in his path. He tripped and fell. Ow! Oh! He chided himself. A trickle of blood oozed from the scratch on his knee, but that did not stop him. He ran faster and harder, scaling one lump of rock after another. As Nan and Bert came within a couple of feet of the turtle's hiding place, a geyser of water spouted in front of them. It sent a spray straight up in the air, blocking the Bobbsey's path. Oh! Nan screeched in surprise. It's only a blowhole, Sunny said as the geyser fell back into place. Keep going! Bert grabbed his sister's hand and skirted the opening. Ahead of them, a skiff was drifting into view. Their quarry dashed through the water toward it. A man with a wide-brimmed hat that covered most of his face helped him aboard. Within moments, they were far out to sea. Now we've lost the coral turtle, Sandy moaned in disappointment. We'll never find it. Never, never, never. And that's the end of chapter 1. Sana nagustuhan niyo yung libro. Mag-comment na lang po kayo kung gusto niyo pang marinig ang susunod na mga chapter. At magbabasa din tayo sunod ng iba pang mga libro. Thanks for watching!